right, everyone. So we are back in the Cts-V. We are right now shooting with the with another camera. It's a Sony Handycam PJ50, which is an older camera. It came back out early 2012, late 2011. I think is when they released it in CES, and I think that's kind of when they we're releasing the first batch, so maybe late 2011. The camera itself uses the Sony G lens. It has GPS on board. Has a 200 and I want to say 220 or 200. Yeah, I think it's a 220 gigabyte hard drive on board. It's not a solid state drive. That was kind of before the solid state drives were really getting cheap enough to, and really were as prevalent to go into the little camcorders. So we have an optical based hard drive, which I don't know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. It's not an action camera, so I'm not planning on throwing this thing anywhere. But on my last video I had a Canon Vixa HF R600, and it was better than the GoPro. Gotta excuse me there. I was trying to merge on and some guy came up next to me and then stopped to let me in, but didn't really give me room to get past him. So anyway, see, that's why you need a supercharged V8 for merging into traffic. 550 horsepower is a must in day-to-day life. But yeah, I had the Canon Vixa HF R600, and it didn't perform as well as I wanted to on a low light sort of interior room level. There was a lot of grain still, and I wasn't really compelled to fully get rid of the GoPro as a primary filming source. It didn't really feel like it was that big of a step up, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a camera that gave me that professional look. Kind of was something that will take me into the future a little bit more with my shooting. I'm getting low on fuel. And provided a much sharper, crisper image, better low light capabilities. And I wanted the GoPro to be my sort of my auxiliary camera, a camera that I used on the exterior of the vehicle, or in the case of my racing rig, a camera that I would use to kind of shoot my pedals, let's just say if I'm reviewing them, or anything else that I'm doing. I wanted it to be my additional camera source. So the Canon really didn't completely pull me away from that. Now, I must say, if you're not planning on using a GoPro for what the GoPro is made for, like exterior car shots and action cam type stuff, and you're only going to use a camcorder as a camcorder for filming, your kids, let's just say at soccer games, or going around and taking videos of nice hikes and stuff like that, then you may want to look at the Canon, because it's very similarly priced, actually cheaper than some of the newer GoPros that are out there. On top of that, you'll get a nice zoom lens. I mean, really, the zoom lens that was on it, it's a little bit of a letdown that I'm not going to have that nice optical zoom that those newer cameras have. Like, for instance, that one there had a 57 times zoom optical lens. Some of the newer Sonys have 60, and that's gorgeous. That's really beautiful, especially if you're trying to take a video of your kid playing out on the soccer field, and you're stuck in the nosebleed section. You could zoom in on their face without any sort of degradation of the image, because you're not going into the software and you're not digitally zooming in. You're just doing the optics. And there is a kid hanging out of the car. All right, they just went back in. Anyway, you gotta love people sometimes. I just, you know, for what I needed it for, I wanted a nice camcorder that had some zoom features so I could do that sort of stuff. But I wanted a nice primary camera, a new primary camera that will give my videos a much cleaner and sharper look. And for me, and for what I want to do with this channel, I felt it still left a lot on the table, left a lot to be desired. So unfortunately I had to return it, and I got the you know, I went over to RC Willey, and they had a this camera here on sale right now. And this camera here was originally $900. And they had it on sale for $299. And it was an open box sort of display model. Now, I would never pay $900 for a camera that was this old. No way at all. And that's why I went and got the Canon, because I don't care how good of a camera any camera is of its day. If it's 5 years old, I can't see spending more money on an open box display model than I can for a brand new camera that's maybe a lesser model. But you know, technology doubles and triples and quadruples every year, so sometimes things that were seen as like really expensive new features just a few years ago become the standard a few years later. So that's what I was thinking. And it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. Yeah, I'm losing out on the solid state memory, but what I'm gaining is video quality big time. So I'm gonna throw some fuel in the car and we'll resume this in just a moment. So yeah, you know, I'm not using my lavalier mic, and I'm not using my my lights or anything like that. This is just raw footage. This camera itself has 5.1 surround sound mic. So, you know, I also want to test to see how this mic is and how well it sounds just raw. It's actually a perfect time to test this sort of stuff because the sun's starting to go down, getting a lot of shade inside the car. But yeah, you know, it's just that camera, it really did kind of let me down a little bit. I was expecting a huge world of difference and a lot more detail. And the sad part about it is, it's just GoPro is just that darn good. And I didn't have before. I have the Hero 3 Plus Silver. And, you know, there's just a lot of detail that is seen on GoPros. You do get that fisheye effect, even if you have it on the narrow field of view. It's very slight, but it's there. Especially like if I'm shooting in front of my projector screen on some of my videos, you can see the edges of the projector screen kind of coming up a little bit. Really no big deal because it's so slight, but it's there. And you know, I just wanted something that would make a good primary camera. And I know with software you could remove the fisheye, it zooms in a little bit more, and you know, all is well. But I wanted something that was really clean, and I felt like I was missing, you know, I had the lavalier mic that I've gotten recently, and I have, you know, some lights that I'm using and trying to give my scenes a little bit more of that saturation of light, and, you know, trying to make it a little bit more presentable. And it just, I was struggling. You know, the GoPro sensor likes lot of light. You have to feed it a lot of light. You know, that's how it serves real well as an action camera, because, you know, generally when you're outside, you have a lot of light. Now in dark settings, it still works and you could still film, although it's grainy, you know. And who goes generally and, you know, rides down trails on their mountain bike or dirt bike in pitch black? You know, not many people. So, you know, although it does do a decent job at actually providing you video in low light and in dark situations, in a sense of just providing you footage where you could see what's going on if you wanted to use one as a, you know, dash cam or what have you. But actually providing really good image quality, you have to feed that sensor a lot of light. You have to kind of make sure you're in a, you know, a nice sunny environment, and that's just perfect for that camera. And the video quality is just superb. It's high detail, high resolution. Even some of the, like the 3+ black, you could, you know, do slow motion, get really high frame rates on that. And even the 4s are even better. You know, you could get higher frame rates, even record up to 4K. So I'm not putting down GoPro at all as far as its image quality, because you could do so much with it. It's just on a day-to-day basis of what I want to do. I needed a nice camera for my channel that I could just plug in and go, and I don't need humongous studio lights to try to bring out the light in my scene. And, you know, you got to kind of weigh your options there. Spend the money on the studio lights, or get a better camera for your main shooting camera and supplement, you know, your GoPro elsewhere for additional shots. It doesn't really make sense then to just, you know, start blasting your room with huge amounts of light when you actually have adequate light. It's just the camera is struggling. I hope I'm kind of feeding my thoughts in a way that makes sense, because my brain tends to just barf out information and I try to catch up with it. And I try not to stutter too much. But you know, I hope the microphone's working well. I know the camera, I'm watching the camera wobble a lot. And it's because of the mount I have it on. The mount I have it on is probably not made for a camera of that weight. So I'm just watching that camera shake about like crazy. It looks like a pissed off cobra head. So you know, if there's a lot of wobble and there's a lot of motion in the picture, I apologize. I'm gonna do an interior shot in just a little bit, hopefully in the room in the same setting as I did the other cameras in, with the lights in the same place. And, you know, we'll get a full scope of what the different camera levels are between the last video and this one here. So this is Crash again, signing out. I hope you enjoyed this, just a random vlog. And I know I was just kind of spitting out information and ideas and reasons all over the place, but consider it more as an audio test and as a video test of varying light. We got the camera shaking. I'm kind of really close to it. I'm actually surprised that it's capturing as much of the interior as it is. And you know, we got no lapel mic on at all. We're just going through the mic on the camera itself. We did some highway driving, so you had kind of the road noise, not so much wind noise in this vehicle. But yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day. And if you're a sim racer, race on.